there still can be these cutting agents that machines couldn't check.
Right.
So that's why we always have to say like this no substance use is safe, and that protects like us from liability for saying like, oh no, if you tell your substance is pure, you're good to go. But we don't use like terminologies like that just to be able to protect yourself.
Right. Nothing's 100%.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just kind of a side effect of us being in a prohibition sort of era when it comes to these sort of substances.
This is Almost Acid.
If you're from Winnipeg, there's a good chance you've already heard of Project Safe Audience. Those rave superheroes lurking around the edge of the dance floor, armed with drug testing kits. But where did this mysterious squad start from?
This is Almost Acid.
So I originally got into harm reduction from working at Shambhala Music Festival. I've been going there for the last 7 years. I've been volunteering there with the last 3 years in either a harm reduction role or as a nurse role. And that's really where I learned a lot about how to do harm reduction, a lot of how to do supply distribution, how to work with people underneath the influence of substances, how to do on-site drug checking, and a lot of sort of the issues that pertain to people who go to the rave scene. I learned quite a lot there.
I had not gone to a rave before Project Safe Audience. So I've been out to a club and I like dancing and stuff, but the actual rave community is different. It's this very tight-knit community that people really care about each other, has a unique style of music.
So I started Project Safe Audience 2.5 years ago.
In 2017.
Okay.
Sorry, it was 2016 now.
2016?
Yeah.
We sort of got the idea when we were going through nursing school that we wanted to provide some services to this community.
Bryce and I, in nursing school in our 3rd year, he actually approached me and said, hey, would you like to come to this rave tonight?
We pooled some money and then we bought some supplies and distributed them at the event.
Okay.
We set up our table, we had the light on us, a banner, a homemade banner that says Project Safe Audience, and it's like painted,
Yes.
and it's got stickers on it.
Our first event that we went to was a Halloween rave at a Chinese food restaurant.
It was actually a Chinese food restaurant.
We weren't doing drug checking at that point. We had a bunch of information, we had a couple condoms, and we were kind of giving out earplugs, but not really. So it was really sort of small at the start.
The journey has been very interesting. After an article was released in CBC, then a lot of people started to recognize us.
There's an article being released from the Globe and Mail, so that'll be coming out in a little bit. And I was also had an article submitted to the Canadian Nursing Magazine that's distributed to all nurses across Canada. So we've had some exposure, at least from the media side of things.
And don't get me wrong, CBC and the Globe are cool, but I don't know how they forgot to mention appearing in the debut episode of everybody's favorite podcast. Welcome to Exit the Echo Chamber, Episode 1. A podcast powered by Six Tiles Media. My name is William Rhoda, and I'll be your host. Today on the show, we're talking to Bryce Koch. Okay, sorry, couldn't help myself. Now, I think you're about to ask what it looks like when PSA works an event today. A lot of what they do happens adjacent to the dance floor, doing outreach work and providing information to interested ravers. They provide condoms, lube, earplugs, snorting straws, and handles from Dance Safe in the States, as well as some they published on their own. But if you want to see where the real magic happens, you're going to need to head on upstairs, around the corner, behind this barrier, into the lab.
So the drug checking, what we use is something called reagents drug checking. So the reagents are these chemicals that when they come in contact with another substance, they will change color depending on what is present in the sample. So we have about 10 reagents that we use to check our drugs and see what they may contain. So we get the individual to place a little bit of their substance on a testing plate, and then we'll take the reagent and add it to that substance, and it'll change color depending on what it is. So for a drug that we suspect is MDMA, we will start off with 3 reagents. We'll start off with the marquee, the mech, and the mandolin. So if this drug comes back positive for the presence of MDMA, it will show up black across the board. However, if there is something else in the substance, it will change color. So if it's something like PMMA in the substance, it will turn red.
We have more services than ever. So we started out with just simplistic few things, and now we have psychedelic crisis intervention available. We have drug checking available. We have gone to Summer of Sound, which is a very large one-day festival in Winnipeg, and we're trying to get into Folk Fest now.
There are other organizations that do harm reduction work here, like Street Connections through the WRHA. The Manitoba Harm Reduction Network also does a lot of harm reduction work, and there's many other organizations that have taken a harm reduction stance and do harm reduction. But we're the only ones that target the rave community specifically. Yes, yeah, very much so, yeah. Harm reduction is definitely growing in Winnipeg.
So it's growing, and we also have naloxone training nowadays, and it's been just a fun adventure. We're also giving presentations on sex, drugs, and EDM, which you can find online, and we're also going to be giving a crystal meth presentation at a harm reduction conference in Saskatoon.
We've gotten 1 grant from the federal government, but besides that, it's all been out of pocket for myself.
So Project Safe Audience has a fundraiser on April 19th. It's at the Pyramid Cabaret. We are trying to fundraise to get an FTIR machine, which is basically a more high-tech way to check people's drugs with more accuracy as well. But it's a little bit expensive, so yeah, we're trying to raise some money, and we'll keep making people safe.
My big goal with Project Safe Audience is to really drive change in this community. Winnipeg needs some change, and we need a better way to deal with this whole substance problem. And I feel PSA would be a great way to provide care to people while allowing them to continue to use substances in a safe manner.